huge copyright wins to share. The template and tutorial, the winning recipe is in the description. So first of all, already love Installation00 that he does cite it down in the description. Installation00, as we've been over, has been going under a lot of stress dealing with situations in regards to companies like Sony that are claiming Halo music. I myself can attest that I have Halo VODs that do have Halo music copyrighted in it, which I was under the impression they were under some sort of fair use. However, on YouTube, we can see that that's not necessarily the case. And companies like Sony, citably from one of his former videos, were making copyright claims on Halo content music. So I wanted to kind of go over this to, one, help signal boost this in what ways I can, because I absolutely love Installation00's content. And copyright right now on YouTube is a very big issue, not just because of large companies, but because of the information you have to give out if a copyright claim is upheld. A random person in chat could issue a copyright claim on my video, and if YouTube upheld that claim, even if the random was in the wrong, I would have to provide my personal details to this person with literally no checks and balances. So it's a near and dear issue to my heart, and I feel this needs to be talked about a lot more. And I absolutely recommend, if you have a content creator that you know, someone you know struggling with copyright, please send them this video. We're going to get into what the updates are.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Installation00, and we have some really big wins in regards to the copyright claims that have been hitting my account recently.
Move my model over.
It's substantial enough that I'm sharing this information and making it publicly available for anyone who's a content creator that produces Halo content, and it might work for other content as well.
So here's the thing is, how many people have you seen on YouTube as a platform, social media, TikTok, Twitter, etc., right? Or Twitter X, right? Who would have monetized this information? Chat, I have a winning solution for you, a winning strategy. We won against XYZ company with copyright. If you follow my course for $14.99 a month, you too could have this information. He could have done that. A lot of people would have done that. There's a reason I watch Installation00. The sheer integrity and the personability that he comes across with, the sheer knowledgeability that he has. These are reasons why I all follow Installation00. Not because he has insider secrets, not because he's giving us, oh, here's this what I used, right? It's that he's willing to help other people and not expect compensation in return. What I can say, though, is please go watch this video, especially because, and his other content as well, he makes great content. He is the only creator that I've seen that has, a 2-hour breakdown on the Arc, an extensive breakdown of that, an extensive breakdown of the Halo ring. It's amazing.
That is owned exclusively by Microsoft. So if you're a content creator, you need to watch this video. If you've had any of your videos claimed for music that's Halo music and it shouldn't be claimed, or whatever the case may be, you need to watch this video. And if you're not a content creator, but you watch many content creators and enjoy their content, you need to share this video with them in some regard, so they're aware of the situation.
I will already mirror this. So, well, Kip, to do your due diligence, you should watch the video. We are going to watch the full video. That's not outside of the question. We are going to be watching this full video. From not just dealing with Installation00, because he did come across one of my reactions, and I had a little bit of an oh crap moment. He came across as an incredibly awesome dude. He came across as super personable. I thanked him for the work that he did. And wished him the best, and that he continued to make such amazing content. He is the Halo content creator that I watch when I need to know something about Halo. There are absolutely others. I mean, there's Blitz, Hidden Xperia, so many other creators that I'm failing to just, I'm spacing right now. But you get what I mean, right? Halo follower too. And Installation00 is one of those channels that, from everything that I said prior, he's just built different, for lack of a better word. And I'm willing to go out on a limb here already before even watching the video. Please go and disseminate this video. I'm not paid to say this. I'm not sponsored by him. He didn't ask me to make this video. I felt that this is a big enough issue in current YouTube, and it's affecting so many creators, especially when creators, who some of them do favor anonymity, are having to leak their personal information due to the YouTube copyright strike system and how you fight that. I think that this is important enough that, please, if you know a creator, if you know someone, if you are curious about copyright, or someone is curious about copyright, his series on this, not just this video, is an excellent place to start.
Because we're looking at a 100% success rate here at releasing these claims.
Nice.
So this is how it breaks
That's
down.
huge. I can tell you my own experience in regards to the recent Audio Network LLC, the interaction that I had on, I believe it was the Russian Badger New Vegas video, where they claim bits of my content and in a post-release window. I did reach out to them personally. I told them inside of the YouTube copyright claim counterclaim system that I will be contacting them directly. I did contact them directly. I went through about 3 personnel before I got to the final person. And, you know, while I necessarily wasn't the most proper, let's put it that way, you know, I worded everything as I should have and I put them on the spot. Look, this is what's happening. You are copywriting this. You are taking legal action at this point under perjury. You are, yes, claiming this song. However, that is the entirety of the bits claimed is not my song. It's not their song. So for instance, they were claiming 10 seconds to 48 seconds, 10 seconds to maybe 22 seconds was the song, 22 seconds to 30 seconds was me talking, so there's a break between that, and then 30 seconds to 48 was the rest of that song, which as far as I'm aware, people have said in the comments was fair use, but I digress. It was still claimed by this company, and I told them, look, you are, yes, claiming this song, however, there is a break in this, I need to see your documentation. They, you know, I list them as non-compliant in that regard. However, due to copyright law, they're not necessarily required to provide anything other than what they're claiming. So they were absolutely more than happy to provide details of the song in question, that they did own the copyright to that, which I said, that's not in question. It's that you're claiming these specific timeframes. If you claim just those specific timeframes, that's fine. I find myself more reasonable. The Luke Skywalker video that released recently had a comment say, well, why'd you mute the whole George Lucas segment? Look, I get Star Wars copyright, I get music copyrighted. Generally, it's just not worth the effort to fight it. It's really not. And in a lot of cases, like especially some of the Star Wars videos that I've done where the audio is, you know, kind of blaring over some of the vocals, absolutely, yeah, I'm going to just be like, it's literally not worth just fighting this. I totally get it. I feel at the very least I'm reasonable. So going into a situation like this, which at the end of the day, me and this audio group LLC, we ended up just, look, if you're releasing this, I'm fully expecting you to put this back up. For this specific situation, you are acknowledging that during this specific situation, you are in quote-unquote good faith, willing to release that claim, something I've never seen any other company do. And, you know, we kind of just parted ways, and I do reserve the right to, if this happens again, to bring up the same situation. It really came down to, if they had copyrighted the song, say the time frame that I had said, I would have been perfectly okay with that. It's that they're claiming a whole section of time and my voice in the center, which they do not own, so therefore I'm pressing them on that. But bygones be bygones, I told everyone there that everyone who dealt with that situation, because of what this was, regardless of if it was a quote-unquote automatic review, which YouTube copyright claim did say it was a manual review, despite them saying, oh, it's an automatic review, you know, so a little bit of an integrity issue there, in my opinion. However, we did decide to let bygones be bygones. Do not harass any companies, don't harass any individuals, do not harass any of the individuals listed in that. Felt I would just take a second to address my recent experience in regards to copyrights and reaching out to a company directly.
I was hit with 12 copyright videos, copyright claims.
Mm-hmm.
And I contested all of them. Now, all of the 12 that were originally claimed was Halo Music.
Yep.
I contested all of them. 4 of them released quite quickly. However, once the 4 released, I was hit with 3.
No, they did not ask me to send them any money. This was a company that, doing a quick Google search, they gross 77 million USD every single year. So annual net worth of 77 million. And I did cite that to them. I said, you're a company of 77 million. I do expect this to be done within 72 business hours. Some might consider it unrealistic demands. At that point, when a company is taking effectively what is legal action against me, yeah, I'm going to say, look, we're going to get this resolved. We're going to get this resolved.
More. 2 of them were not music. They were actually like Halo Fall of Reach and Halo Legends footage.
Mm-hmm.
And the 3rd one was claimed against public domain music composed by Rachmaninoff that's been in public domain since 1943.
There's a lot of this actually recently. There's a lot of this. Well, not just it's kind of always been a thing. There's a lot of this where companies will claim public use music, or there's the infamous cases of white noise, right? Someone generates white noise, uploads it, and just massive sections of the video start getting claimed by just random companies like, you know, like baby sleep music volume, whatever, cricket music volume. But it's like, okay, so if I upload the entirety of, say, Avengers Endgame to YouTube, right, or Star Wars to YouTube, right, I'm going to get slapped with look, you need to take this down, and that's reasonably so. when creators are able to, say, randomly or automatically generate content, and existing organizations and companies or even third parties can just walk in and be like, actually, we want that, that's an issue to me. And that is a very bad systemic, I'm trying to figure out which word is appropriate there. That's a bad issue for a system to have.
Which has no copyright claim on it. So the fact that they can try to claim that is just okay. I compiled all of the information of these companies as I clearly outlined in the previous video, the previous update video, and I found the name for all the companies, compiled all the information, sent it off to Microsoft. That's pending.
That Sony was in that list. If you haven't watched the prior video, which I did, and I watched that one off screen. If you haven't watched the prior video, definitely watch that. Sony was among that. Which allegedly, if Sony owns the rights to this music, you know, congratulations, Sony, on your acquisition of Halo. People in chat are going to be like, you know, well, Kip, Sony clearly doesn't own it. See, that's the magic of that, though, is that when a company wants to claim something like that. So, for example, if I had Disney come in and say, Kip, well, we own all of this content, you know, bam, 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 bam. Congratulations, Disney. Congrats on, you know, obtaining me as a brand. You know, can I see the paperwork, please? Well, what do you mean the paperwork? Well, you are claiming vast sections of just me. You know, can I see the paperwork to support this? And, you know, well, we don't have that paperwork, or we're unable to send it. Well, can I get legal documentation to get notarization for that? Can I get any of that from you? Well, we don't necessarily want to, and I'm using Disney as an example, as hyperbole, if you will, right? And, you know, at a certain point, it's like, well, you know, Disney, you can post on public forum, I'm apparently allegedly owned by Disney at that point, and, you know, this is apparently an acquisition I was not aware of, I do not have a documentation support, and that public, just making that public, because you do have the ability to make that public as far as I'm aware. That's why I make a lot of these things public in regards to certain copyrights that I do feel are egregious. It's putting accountability on them and making them have to do the paperwork.
Microsoft is doing what they do. I also hired a solicitor to find these companies and issue cease and desist letters for making these fraudulent copyright claims. Because they are fraudulent. These companies, again, the list of which are in the description down below and in the top pinned comment, I believe. These companies have no association or affiliation with Microsoft.
Let me see if I can't find that from the description, because he's saying that it's there. Microsoft's game content usage policy. So that's what I'm going to have to read up on. Do we have a pin? Doesn't look like we have it. But the other video does have the companies that did do it.
Or Halo or 343 Industries. So it is fraudulent activity.
Yes.
So that's pending.
This is to say, chat, I cannot legally... Let's just use, and since we're watching Installation00, right? Because this is a issue. I cannot legally, or in good faith, look at Installation00's content as anyone, a company, third-party organization, and just claim as content. I can't go up to Disney, and I know I'm focusing on Disney a lot. It's the name that's right there for me. You know, I can't go up to them and be like, well, I claim this, right? That's not legal. At the very least, that's disingenuous of me to claim any of these, and that's the issue we're running into. And it seems, the way that I understand that copyright works is that the DMCA, as it's currently designed, is designed to work with companies and organizations. It's not designed to work at a fundamental level. You're at an individual creator level. And so there's little loopholes that you get into. As far as I'm aware, you've had people like iShowSpeed. You have them who have allegedly in the past, you know, issued copyright takedowns. It wasn't Icepicide. I'm trying to remember who else it was. There was another big creator who got in a lot of flack a few months ago for issuing DMCAs to quote unquote censor content. And that is an oversight, and that does need to get addressed, if anything. So here's the thing. This does open up YouTube potentially to liability. Not that I'm a lawyer. This would be something you would have to seek legal advice and legal counsel over. This is not legal advice and should not be treated as such. If I were to have this audio group that I was dealing with, or an audio group or a company, issue me a copyright claim and YouTube upheld it, YouTube knowingly said, nope, they have the proper paperwork, they have everything they need to hold this, this claim is upheld, and I go to fight that because, right, Microsoft's gain usage policy, right? If I were to cite that, and they're like, whoa, no, this company not associated with Microsoft owns this right, I now have to send my legal name, I have to send my address, I have to send so much documentation to fight this, to counter-strike it, right? To fight that strike. And now, this random third party that might not even have a legitimate claim now has my information that I didn't want out there in the first place. You see how this is problematic, and how this could potentially open up YouTube, and at least to allegedly potentially assisting people in getting information like that. It's a civil crime according to the DMCA law, of course, getting proviso enforced against a company with millions to make roll. And that's the thing. It's not just companies. It's the fact that I could hop into, someone could be in someone's basement or an attic, right? Or just sitting there and just like, well, I'm gonna cause chaos. Then I'm gonna sow some chaos, and that's an issue. That is problematic of a system, and I would argue can potentially hold YouTube liable if it went far enough.
The solicitors are doing their job. That's pending. I'll give an update when I know more.
Yeah, that's going to take a while.
With a legal friend. Now, this is the important thing. I worked with a legal friend to devise a script for disputing the claims. And the script reads as follows. There's a couple of variations, but it reads as follows. All music used in this video is from the Halo original soundtracks. The composers of this music are O'Donnell Salvatore Inc., the original composers of the Halo soundtracks, and or Neil Davich, the original composer of the Halo 4 soundtrack. The copyright holder of this music is Microsoft. Under Microsoft's game content usage policy, it states that the use of game content, including game footage, cutscenes, and audiovisuals, can be used in monetized videos on YouTube and Twitch.
This I'm going to have to read into a little bit more because I need to understand this policy at a fundamental level. Of course, this situation that Installation00 is dealing with, having what seems to be a legal professional look this over, absolutely, this would make sense. However, I need to make sure that for me reading it going into, if I was to make another Halo 3 anniversary video, because I made my Halo 3 15th anniversary video on the other Kizuna Kip channel, it did okay. And I need to make sure that I understand the particulars of this because there can be things in there that I don't quite understand, if that makes sense. There could be loopholes and there could be things that you do specifically need to avoid. We are dealing with contracts
Microsoft
after all.
Game content usage policy states clearly, these rules apply to all games and game content published and owned by Microsoft Studios and for which Microsoft owns the copyright, trademark, or other intellectual property, of which Microsoft owns the entirety of the Halo franchise. So
this is where the Sony argument actually comes up because Sony did acquire Bungie, and it depends on if Bungie holds any intellectual property sway over that. That being said, that is Installation00 and all affiliated personnel that have worked on this are going to know a lot more about that than I do, and I'm going to defer to them as the professionals in this situation. I really don't know the situation in regards to Sony and the Bungie acquisition, as well as how that ties into Halo. As far as I'm aware, Microsoft Studios does own the Halo IP, and as far as I'm aware, that's really what matters. So what's interesting to me is if that Sony claim was upheld, could Microsoft, potentially have a lawsuit against Sony saying, excuse you, you are claiming our content. It's a different thing, right? If a smaller entity, an individual is claiming that, Microsoft can be like, look, we're going to cease and desist you. You need to stop that. Versus Sony, that is an entity that arguably does know better. Microsoft can, you do know copyright law. You do know this. You did this factually. We're going to follow through with it. You did issue this legal claim. Or they could just let it drop. I mean, it really just depends. But in the terms of legality, I'm very curious where that falls into.
It goes on to say, you may make your item available on YouTube or Twitch and participate in programs on those sites to allow you to earn revenue from ads displayed in connection with your item. The original policy can be found here. Provide the link. Martin O'Donnell has publicly stated that he does not own the rights to the Halo soundtrack he and Michael Salvatore composed, and that they rest solely with Microsoft. Neil Davich was contacted on this matter and informed of the following. All rights in the Halo 4 score rest with Microsoft. Sorry, need to refer you back to Microsoft.
That's as good of a statement as you can get. And if it does lie with Microsoft, Microsoft will ultimately have the final say there.
Interrupt quickly here. This has been added after the fact, after I originally edited this video, as new information has become available. So the Halo 4 soundtrack has distribution rights that rest with Sony.
That would be why then. So Sony does technically own, as far as I'm aware in this, Sony would technically own parts of Halo 4. I guess congratulations, Sony, on your, continued ownership of Halo 4, at least in part.
Somehow. And it does mean that they do have a legitimate claim against the Halo 4 original soundtrack. So if you are using Halo 4 music in your content, you're still going to encounter demonetization as long as it comes from Sony specifically, Sony Music.
So here's how I handle this as a creator, right? One, as much as I did like Halo 4, I do still continue to like it. I just don't support Halo. I just don't continue to stream, watch, play, support Halo 4. And if I'm to make content about it, I can replace it. You can make your funny cut to music owned by Sony cannot play, or jab at Sony, right? And it's a fact at this point. It seems as if it's a factually true statement. It's kind of strange that the intellectual property does rest with Microsoft. However, Sony does have distribution rights. So, I mean, I'm not sure how that works, especially because this was the first 343 game, from my understanding. Once again, that is for legal professionals to unravel and all that, how that works. All I can say is, I guess, congratulations, Sony, on having rights to the distribution of Halo 4 music, as well as having legally upheld copyright claims and strikes on channels using Halo 4 music. Because of this practice, I don't, probably won't support Halo 4 music as much as I used to, and we'll just replace it with other things. That's how you handle that.
Publishing. If it comes from anyone else, it's fraudulent. If it doesn't come from Microsoft or Sony for the Halo 4 soundtrack, it's fraudulent. If it comes from Sony, or it won't be Microsoft, but if it did come from Microsoft, it's legitimate. So best way to avoid that, don't use the Halo 4 soundtrack. This means
this is sound advice. I mean, yeah, no, this is more of a concise, condensed way of what I said, yeah.
all original composers of Halo music refer to Microsoft as the original copyright holder, and since Microsoft allows the usage of this content in monetized videos on...
So, as I've heard in chat, yes, you can, on behalf of yourself when filing a counterclaim or a counterstrike, if you do have a law firm or a lawyer on your payroll, yes, absolutely, you can use their information instead. However, someone like me, a lot of other creators, can't afford to bankroll a lawyer or a law firm. We just can't afford it. And, I'm not opposed to contacting companies directly to get to the bottom of this. It takes time out of my day. It makes me get less sleep. At the end of the day, if they're going to issue claims that are automatic, which people have said these can't be automatic, so that's probably why they're insisting it's manual, allegedly. You take it to them and be like, look, we're going to resolve this. The issue is you have to stop before they can say, well, you're just harassing us at this point, and then maybe they could actually sue you because you are harassing their company, their brand, their business, their employees, which I don't condone harassment. I really don't. It's not okay, It's not. So there's a fine line there.
YouTube and Twitch, any copyright claim of this content that does not come from Microsoft itself is a fraudulent claim. Microsoft, as the copyright owner, the game content usage policy, and the statements of the respective composers prove beyond doubt that this claim has been made in error and should not stand. Now, there is a variation of this script that allows you to deal with claims that are made by other YouTube channels through the YouTube's copyright algorithm that does it kind of automatically. And
this is what I'm super scared about, as a React content creator, right? Is that, say I were to do more hardcore edited works, right? And I were to use, say, a clip from, I don't know, Hidden Xperia or something like that. And maybe Hidden Xperia allegedly didn't like the clip I was using. He could issue a DMCA, and that does retain, the person does retain the right to do that, right? If I were to react to this, and Installation00 said, Kip, I appreciate it. I need you to lay off a little bit. I am going to have to DMCA this, that is in his right, and I will respect that. And me, because of my morals and ethics, I would take this down and say, look, this is what happened. He was absolutely a gentleman about this, absolutely super professional about this. I am logging this for public record just so other people, are aware of the situation and know that maybe he doesn't want his content reacted to, right? That kind of thing, right? And that's how I resolve that. There's been a number of occasions where we've had, creators that have, especially large-scale creators, that have DMCA'd portions from smaller channels or from smaller channels, and they have no way to fight that. And so it is a balancing act. Absolutely, DMCA exists. It should exist within reason, though, in my opinion.
Basically, it's just claiming against content you've uploaded against another YouTube channel that's uploaded similar or the same content in part or in full,
which is what I do. This does classify, even though I'm being as transformative as I can and doubling if not tripling lengths of videos, sometimes 5xing in certain situations, it is still using this as the base concept. And so absolutely, Installation00 would have full ability should he choose to DMCA this video. I feel that this video is something that needs to come out. I feel that this video is something that I want to signal boost to what corners that I can. And I absolutely recommend everyone who's watching this to signal boost this in what ways they can as well, because this is a very, very important topic in regards to copyright. And Installation00 does more than just copyright. He has so many other awesome videos. You know, he's got his Halo Ring most detailed breakdown, his Arc most detailed breakdown. He has so many awesome videos. And some of those I don't want to react to, specifically because I want that to remain solely with him. And it incentivizes people that might be able to see, you know, as of uploading this, we'll have the Noble 6 versus Master Chief out, you know, that reaction to, hey, you know, he did that. I saw this weird, funny Horn VTuber person reacting to Installation00, and oh, there's a most detailed Mjolnir breakdown or most detailed Halo Ring breakdown. I'm going to go watch that. And that's precisely why I'm here. To, hey, you should go watch this.
For some reason pays them the revenue, and it shouldn't, because they don't own the copyright. Microsoft do. And it also deals with things that aren't strictly just the music. It deals with things like Halo Legends, Halo the Fall of Reach, the animated movie, Halo Forward Unto Dawn, things like that. So the variation of the script, again, you can tweak these as well based on your specific circumstance, and make sure you do the research to make sure that there is no association or affiliation between the individual channel.
This is not a get out of jail free card all the time. More research is required. You should absolutely, definitely continue to look into things, make sure that certain affiliations are or aren't there, and do your research. Absolutely. I do think that this is a good warning.
Or the company and Microsoft. As far as I've found so far, almost every company that have been involved with any claims that have been made against me for the entirety of the time that I've been on YouTube haven't had any association or affiliation with Microsoft. They don't have the authority to make that claim against you. Only Microsoft do.
Yeah.
So.
Right. And if anything, I feel Microsoft should start big companies should start to come down on individuals that do this. So if I were to have my channel, right? If I were to have Kip Reacts, Kizuna Kip, etc., right? And somebody where it was to issue a false DMCA saying on behalf of Kizuna Kip, or Kip Reacts, I am issuing this. And I go, who the hell are you? Why are you issuing this in my name? That could also potentially be brand damaging as well. You know, I'm sure that it comes down to lawyers and law firms costing money even to entities like Microsoft and Sony, and sometimes being able to find these individuals. There needs to be more of a check and balance. If you're going to initiate a copyright claim, you have to be able to provide that paperwork inherently through YouTube. And I'm sure there's systems that do allow that. There needs to be something done to address these false DMCA claims, as well as tangible punishment and accountability, in my opinion.
Variation of the script is as follows. The claimant is another YouTube channel, or the claimant is such and such a company, again, tweak it as you need it, that has also uploaded this content in one of their videos. Just because they've uploaded this footage does not make them the copyright holder of the original content, and as such, this claim has no legal basis. Microsoft own the copyright to this content, and their fair usage content policy allows both myself and other YouTubers, the claimant included, to use this content.
So, and this is where we get into some of the YouTuber skirmishes in regards to copyright claims and copyright strikes. Say, once again, say I was to upload an iShowMeet clip or something like iShowSpeed clip. If I was to upload an iShowSpeed clip of him playing game, maybe I was uploading the infamous Five Nights at Freddy clip, but albeit censored, right? And, you know, iShowSpeed goes, whoa, you can't have that. That's of me, right? Well, as far as I'm aware, from what little I did see of the clip, there is enough transformative about it, and it wasn't showing just the game, it was showing him as well, so there could be valid grounds for that takedown, as well as YouTube, you know, community, I could get a YouTube community guidelines violation because a certain organ was shown on a YouTube stream, so I could be risking a community guidelines violation as well. And, you know, at that point, there isn't really grounds for that. Or if I were to play or do something in regards to someone does something very special, whether it's an overlay, whether it's a feature, you know, running a randomized run, but every time I die, the keys get randomized, right? Or something like that, right? Okay, maybe they have more grounds. But at the end of the day, if someone is just uploading a clip of Halo 3, and maybe they're doing what I'm doing, is providing commentary, maybe doing lore explanations, breakdowns, right? That gets into a little bit of a gray area. And at that point, what are you claiming? Oh, well, I'm claiming that you're using my content. Well, do you own Halo as an IP? No, it's a very interesting world, and there's a lot of particulars to it. And a lot of this could just be resolved by people just talking to each other. And the DMCA system really needs an overhaul in regards to individual creators and to oust problematic false DMCAs.
The footage claimed here is Halo: The Fall of Reach, Halo Legends, Halo Forward into Dawn, whatever the case may be. The copyright holder of this is Microsoft. Under Microsoft's game content usage policy, it states that the use of game content, including game footage, cutscenes, audio visuals, can be used in monetized videos on YouTube and Twitch. Microsoft's game content usage policy clearly states these rules apply to all games, content published and owned by Microsoft, yada, 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 same as the previous one. It goes on to say, you may make your item available, again, same as the previous one.
I would argue at this point you would be looking into, I know some Ordinary Gamers talks about the 4 pillars of transformative content, something like that. I can't remember specifically what it is offhand. You would be looking into what makes content transformative, and then in regards to what you could have a legal copyright claim or strike over.
The original policy can be found here. And in the rather unique circumstance where public domain music was claimed, it's really quick and to the point. So I put for the particular piece
right
that was claimed against me. The claimed piece is Piano Concerto No. 3 in D minor, OP 30, composed by Rachmaninoff in 2014. All of Rachmaninoff's compositions became public domain. In truth, most of his compositions were already in the public domain when he passed away in 1943, and thus cannot be claimed against by third parties for copyright purposes. The claim against this video is invalid and should be released immediately.
Very well worded.
So they're the scripts. Again, they're in the video description down below. You can copy them and you can use them, save them, whatever the case may be. Again, make minor tweaks as you need to based on the content that's being claimed.
Yes.
I'm now going to walk you through the process so you can visually see the process from my end on...
This should always be a case-by-case basis.
...how you go about initially disputing the claim and then appealing it if it is rejected, because it can happen. So if you're a content creator, this is the important part of the video. This you need to be paying attention now.
Oh boy, I've had to go through this part. Oh boy.
If you're not a content creator, share this video with your favorite Halo content creators, because this will help them release or any copyright claims against Halo music and other Halo content.
Obviously, as we have discussed, where Sony does own distribution rights to Halo 4, Halo 4 withstanding, and even if they're not a Halo content creator, even if they're just a, React content creator, even if they are a gaming content creator, real life content creator, prank content creator is hard as it was to say that, right? If they're any form of content creator on YouTube, I would absolutely recommend that you send them this for at least a breakdown and the series he's done over this, over his experience with, dealing with these copyright claims, from start to finish, the 3-4 videos that he has out on it now. I would absolutely recommend that you send them that as a starting point to help understand what they're dealing with.
And that helps everybody. There's no reason why my fellow content creator brothers and sisters should be dealing with this shit. Because
absolutely,
this is fraudulent activity. There's no two ways about it.
So here's the thing: I can't. This is where this actually really rubs me the wrong way. Chat. Every one of you knows that I worked in a financial institution. Everyone knows that I worked in finance. Can I just tell somebody that oh, your HELOC's fixed rate when it's not? And then they get the paperwork, and then they see as the Federal Reserve raises their rates, like, well, damn, why'd my rate go up? Oh, well, you see, your HELOC's actually a variable rate product. We don't offer fixed rate products. How many people would be banging on my door? How many emails I'd be getting? How many potential violations I would have on me? Right? I can't do that. So if you're not the copyright holder, if you don't have a legal claim, and once again, this is where gray area happens, right? You're using free use content, or you're using copyright free content, or you're using things that are in public domain, or things that have been said you can use it for XYZ purposes just fine, and you transform it enough in a certain way that you could have a copyright claim over it, right? Obviously that's legal gray area. If you don't have the legal claim, if I don't have the legal claim over Avengers Endgame, why the fuck should I be allowed to submit that and not face repercussions, right? It's not fixed rate. Right? Yeah, you should absolutely. If I were to mislead you, especially working in finance, right? That's a problem. And you have every right to be upset at me for that, which is why I took great pride at what I do and read everything I could and did everything I did to a T to the best of my ability, because I wanted to avoid. I had to fix mess ups from other people. I can't go into detail on certain things. I did what I did very well. Let's put it that way. And unfortunately, people do make mistakes, and I unfortunately also got a lot of those mistakes, and I had to rectify that and apologize. But yes, this is no different than any other field. I cannot make Kipcoin as a crypto project, NFT, whatever, right? Whatever blockchain project, because I got a message about that the other day. Hey, Kip, you want to do a blockchain project? And I just, I'm good, homie. Thank you. I appreciate you for reaching out. I'm good. And I can't say, well, anyone that buys Kipcoin or a Kip NFT is going to be able to fly out to Idaho and have a one-on-one dinner with me, right? And then I don't deliver on it. At the very least, I'd argue that is disingenuous, whether it is illegal or not illegal, because crypto technically falls into an interesting, crypto blockchain NFTs fall into an interesting legal gray area when it comes to assets, which they have been speculatory assets. I think we can all agree on that. Point being, circling back, if I don't have the grounds on something, why should I be allowed to claim it without repercussion? Because it seems like a lot of these claimants, these false DMCAs, not just from big companies, right? We're talking like, you know, your random person that'll hop on and just issue DMCA claims. Why are they not facing any repercussions from this?
Again, this also only works with Halo content, as far as I'm aware. I've only tested it on Halo content. It stands to reason, based on the game content usage policy's own wording, that other games owned exclusively by Microsoft could also benefit from this script, but again, you'd need to tweak it with those respective games,
yes,
and you need to do
absolutely.
the research to make sure that the game content that you are contesting is actually exclusively owned by Microsoft.
Yes.
Particularly if it's
case-by-case basis, do your research.
Music. Again, sometimes that can be licensed out. Sometimes the original composers still own the license, the copyright license for it. So a little bit of your own kind of research and legwork will be required in that capacity.
Yes, yes.
And again, it's worked for me, and it should work for you, but don't do anything that you're not completely comfortable with.
Yes.
I've done everything that I can in this video.
So here's the thing that needs to be stated as well. If you get a copyright strike and you're going to fight that strike, from my understanding on the copyright strike system, if you fight that strike, they can escalate that to full-on legal action, aka suing you, because they are, at that point, if a strike happens, if a claim is upheld or a strike just outright happens, and you fight that, you are fighting that they own the legitimate rights to that. And say, for example, we have someone like, you're trying to fight Halo 4 music, but Sony owns the distribution rights and Sony has valid legal claim over it. Sony is then going to be like, well, you have challenged our ability to do this. We are going to take legal action against you. Similarly with Microsoft, similarly with Nintendo, right? So the strike phase, very specifically the strike stage, make sure you've done your research on and read up on it, because sometimes it's, to me, a lot of it hasn't been worth it. I've had claims upheld, and it's like, look, I don't have the time to deal with this. I don't have the money. I don't have the resources. I don't have the legal team to deal with this. And the strike has been upheld. The best I can do at this point is congratulate, X claimant for allegedly owning the rights to this content, and then putting in the public sphere, putting them in the spotlight.
Video and the content and the script and everything like that to minimize the risk to you as a channel and as an individual. But again, it is down to your own comfort level.
Yes.
The original dispute, even if it's rejected, nothing happens. There's very little risk involved there.
You can file this isn't legal advice. Please don't treat this as legal advice. You can very comfortably file a counterclaim as long as the reasoning is solid enough, in my opinion. And I do regularly file counterclaims. And if they're upheld, that's when I start to take a look back and go, okay, I'm a little outside of my depth.
It's the next step after that. But we'll deal with that in a second.
I guess I should have probably just let him talk. I have a habit of that.
So, if you've just uploaded a video, or you've recently uploaded a video, or a video was uploaded a while ago and has only just recently got a claim, or you've just noticed the claim and you haven't done anything yet, you haven't disputed it, you haven't done anything yet, this is what you do to dispute it. So first things first, you'll go into the details.
Oh boy, I'm familiar with this screen. Actually, there's a cool interaction here where, say, for example, if it's the follow reach, you can actually hit that. In certain options, if the music is able to be muted, YouTube's background AI can actually attempt to mute the specific soundtrack, but sometimes the soundtrack is too embedded with the voiceover, so therefore you'd have to either mute the entire segment of the video, which older videos by mine have had entire segments muted, or you'll have to trim out that segment.
Details of the respective copyright claim, and there you'll be able to identify the company that are making the claim against you, or the individual. In this case, it's actually another YouTube channel.
Huh.
I just had to search that name of.
Huh. I'm not going to show this person. No, that's a media yeah, no, there's, yeah, they exist. why. It's kind of like, from at a base level, it looks like it's like Super BAM Inc., Super BAM, whatever variations they have, because they have several variations, it seems. Yeah. No, the description alone just seems weird. I'm not going to give the channel the exposure. Just know that this is on background research, just on the other monitor, I can confirm that this is an actual YouTube channel, and they're doing technically what they said they're doing.
On YouTube, and it came up with the exact channel. In either case, once you've identified the company and the respective part of content...
What do you mean don't copyright them? I'm not copyrighting them. I don't have any legal claim over anything they do. I'm just making sure that this is an actual channel. Yeah, it's an actual channel. That's all I was doing.
And that it's been copyrighted, you can click here and go to dispute.
Yes. So if we go back a few frames, generally, when a section of my video is missing, or sometimes it can sound weird and warped, and I'm not laughing, because my laugh is just almost impossible to capture on microphone. This is the part here that I'll use. I'll just mute the segment because most of the time it just really isn't worth it. You'll see on the reload, Art of the Reload, I had to use this a few times. You could replace the song, you could trim out the segment, or file a dispute.
At this point, it's none of these options here, because those options just say that, there may be licenses in place that void it. So you just click this one to move on to here. And because this is all Halo content, it falls under Microsoft's fair content usage.
You will want to review this segment. This is why I actually reached out to the audio company that I did, because in this segment that they claimed, it was not just what they were claiming, it's that I was speaking in it too. So therefore, while they used the song to claim the segment, I was contacting them on grounds of, well, you clearly say that you own my IP as well, which I cannot advise that, as that's something that I feel more comfortable with other people can't, and that is a very unique thing that I have done in order to reach out to companies and try to hold them accountable. Once again, the Audio Network LLC, we had a reasonable resolution. We went our separate ways. I told everyone that they did deserve a raise for dealing with this situation in the first place, and we kind of left it at that. So this is generally what you're going to see.
Policy. That means that you can use the copyright exception, such as fair use, for this particular case.
Public domain's right there.
Then it's just a case of continuing from here onto the next screen, and believe that you're obviously...
You are making legal acknowledgements.
You have the right to use this content. It just gives you definitions of fair use. This is just generic kind of legal mumbo jumbo. You can just, again, click that you acknowledge this. And
not legal advice. Definitely recommend reading it. But yeah, no, Installation00 is pretty on point there. I cannot legally tell you to as legal advice, just skip this section. Definitely read it.
Move on. This is the part that's the important aspect of this process. So now you have to...
So for me, I do reaction video. Generally, when I do an a copyright claim, when I fight that, I will use a reaction video, because I am doing React content and I try to make it as transformative as I can. I do fall into React content as a territory. However, if, for example, I were to try to counterclaim my Halo 15th anniversary, I would be going, it's a gameplay video. Or if I were to put up a video in regards to cellular mitosis, right, and educational video, right?
Select gameplay, because it's obviously come from a game of some degree. Here you copy in the...
I actually have maxed out this character limit. I have genuinely maxed out this character limit on a regular basis.
The template that I've put into the video descriptions for the respective...
Then you make acknowledgements.
That it's for the fall of reach rather than music.
Yes, and this is the other thing that worries me, because notice he had to blur this out, and I can't file a counterclaim as Kip Reacts. I have to use my full legal name. So now they know who I am. And part of my concern is YouTube as a platform, as far as I'm aware, and I'd very much welcome a lawyer's perspective on this, or someone with legal credentials to welcome their perspective on this. YouTube doesn't protect against retaliation. So say if I were to hypothetically, not saying that this happens, this is just my concern, even at a claim stage where I am having to file, and Installation00 is having to file his actual name, his real name, hence why it's blurred out, right? And a company receives this, or a third party receives this, suddenly they know a lot more about me than I want them to. Where is the checks and balance in this? What if it's a third party? Now they have my name. Now they're going to have access to potentially Facebook records. They're going to have access to anything with my name on it. LinkedIn, anything. anything that could tie back to my name. They could do a background check for all I'm aware. As far as I'm aware, you could, on certain background check websites, you could actually just put in my name, anyone's name, and find things about them. This is problematic to me. However, this is currently the way that the system is, and I will advocate that this does need to change, and that for copyright claims to go through or to be upheld, legal documentation does need to be submitted within a reasonable time frame. In my opinion, it should be, because big businesses are going to care about their IPs no more than 72 business hours. I say business hours specifically because Sundays and holidays, right, makes sense.
You then tick all the
I
boxes.
have Facebook for obligatory SCA purposes, let's put it that way.
Just to confirm, sign your name, and then submit this dispute against the copyright claim.
Yes, and then they receive it.
Once you've done that,
then they have a 30-day window.
Video goes into escrow for 30 days. Now, that basically means that any revenue earned on that video through ads will be held in a holding account for 30 days. Now,
it is sent to a holding account, and it will be awarded to whoever wins that claim.
During those 30 days, the company or the individual that's made that claim may release the claim, especially if you use the script here, because it deals directly with the legalities that are involved.
Yes.
Hopefully they release it relatively quickly and it's no problem. Sometimes
I feel I've had claims released just because I come across as professional. I'm going to use the word aggressively professional, especially because I have said I want your legal documentation, I want your notarized documentation in regards to how you own the specific content. I can't advocate for using that. I can't say to use that because I'm not going to give legal advice, because that isn't legal advice. I can say that I have been aggressively professional, and I'm not like swearing at them or anything like that. It's like, I need you to provide this. You are saying this. This segment contains this. I need you to provide this. You will provide this because you are making at this point a legal claim against this content. So that's, and it's not even been 100% effective. It's how I choose to go about filing the counterclaim. Everyone's different. I should probably be a little less aggressively professional and more passively professional.
Sometimes they just want to play hardball or just be a dick, in which case the whole 30 days will roll by. You won't get the money during those 30 days, but once those 30 days elapse, the money releases, it comes straight to you. We're all good and we're all happy. The only caveat to that is that they can reject your dispute.
Yes.
And if they do that,
the claim is
it's
upheld.
a slightly different process. So if it's rejected, you can appeal it again, use the same rationale. You'll have to provide some personal details, however.
Yes.
So it's up to you to choose if you...
I never go past this stage. If YouTube upholds a claim, I personally, unless I know for a damn fact that this is fraudulent in some way, I don't go past the stage, because to me, I would rather just take down the video, maybe potentially even redo the video, or in the cases such as Jaden Animation's Pokemon Platinum video, which will never be released because something about it just keeps getting flagged every single time. It's not worth the headache. It's not worth the hassle. I'm not willing to fight a company that grosses millions in regards to... I'm not willing to give them more information about myself.
You want to take it that far, because again, we're dealing with companies that are making fraudulent claims against content creators for Halo music that they don't own the copyright.
That is not a slight at Jaden Animations in any way, shape, or form. I love their content. It comes down to a specific company, which shall remain unnamed, keeps flagging the Pokemon Platinum and the Soul Link video when I try to react to it, despite other creators reacting to it just fine, and trying to get a hold of them, never getting a response, and providing certain information to them already and never responding to me. And it's not worth giving them more information. And at that point, it's kind of just a blacklist to me. Like, I'm not going to deal with this.
The copyright for. And the information that you provide, your name, your address, can and will be shared with these companies. Now, if they're dealing with fraudulent copyright claims, I don't much rate how well they'll handle your private details in regards to confidentiality.
That's the concern.
So again, it's your own choice in this regard. I took the risk because I can use a pseudo address like a PO box that doesn't actually tell where my exact location is.
Smart, very smart,
and that kind of helps mediate some of the risk of private information being,
yes, it helps mitigate, but it doesn't
out there. But again, completely down to you. I'm not going to force you to do anything that you don't want to.
Reinforcing case by case.
So if it's rejected, you can appeal it, and this is what you do to appeal it. This follows a very similar procedure to the previous one. It's just that you're adding more extraneous detail, and this is the one where you have to use.
And we've already went over this, so this is an absolute valid use of the. I know there's certain creators that have said, well, you can't do this. It comes across unprofessional. Just do it in post. Installation zeros are already inserted in post, the new information. So this text does make a lot of sense here, and it further reinforces the Halo 4 distribution rights owned by Sony. This is perfect.
Your own private information. So this one is an example of Haven, composed by Neil Davidge from the Halo 4 soundtrack, that's been copyright claimed. Again, you can quite easily ascertain the companies that are involved. And I've already disputed this before, and you can see here it says dispute rejected. So now I'm going to effectively appeal that final decision. So again, you click the 3 dots, click your appeal. Loads up basically basic information about the appeal. It gives you 7 days, or rather, it gives the claimant 7 days to respond.
It can result in a copyright strike, and that's the thing: is 3 copyright strikes, you're done. But again, this is just in a 9-day rolling period, from my understanding.
You just click understand, continue. This is the point that I could.
I would not do this, me personally. That is bullshit for any of these people to have. In regards to if a company were to say, you know, hey, well, we're gonna. If I'm saying contacting Sony, right? If I'm getting claimed by the company shown earlier, the YouTube channel earlier, like hell, I'm going to give them my information. No way. Like, no way.
Can understand some people get a little bit worried about the circumstance because you're putting in your private details. You have to put in your name and your full street address along with a contact email address. I understand people's concern. Now, I use a PO box I've got, so it's not actually my actual address. It's kind of a proxy address, so to speak, so that at least somewhat serves to keep my identity somewhat secure. But nevertheless, you put your information in here and then you continue to the next step. I understand the trepidation, but we'll talk about that in just a minute. Click continue, move on to the next page.
It just gives them way more information.
Into the reason, you literally copy in the same template that I've got in the video description for the respective circumstance. So again, with this one, this is Halo 4 music that's being claimed against, so I'm using the template that tackles Halo music specifically, and the component.
And obviously for the Halo 4 one, that's a little different, where Sony, due to owning distribution rights, does uphold the rights for that. So this is the odd one out.
This is Martin O'Donnell, Michael Salvatore, and in this case, Neil Davidge. So I will be copying that into this rationale text box just here. Again, same as the previous one. Once it's all copied in, you just confirm everything and then sign your name at the bottom. Once that's done, you click submit and we move on.
God, I haven't heard of Sid Alpha in a hot second. Is he still doing content? Yeah, no, there's been multiple devs of games who have weaponized this exact system. And this system is, as far as I'm aware, I think we can argue, is inherently flawed in certain aspects, and I would argue it needs a complete overhaul.
Now, I will say that despite them not having a legal claim, a legal right, or to this content, despite that, if they illegally reject your dispute, your appeal, which they can, hypothetically, it's highly unlikely that they would, because if they do, they're effectively openly claiming this content is mine.
As far as I'm aware, isn't that the step where they could take you to court?
It's not. It's Microsoft's. Then they're opening themselves to the next step, which I'll inform you about in a minute.
Okay, so I guess there's a middle step here. It also is a comfort level thing. Is he saying, I'm not willing to give anyone that information. I will, as I've done, attempt to contact the company directly and have negotiations with them and demand that legal notarized documentation, which a lot of them won't want to provide if it's outside of a certain, like, well, we have this copyright for this soundtrack, we have this copyright for this video, right? Well, I mean, you do claim certain things, so I mean, I feel that you should get your lawyers on the phone, and you need to get that legal notarized documentation to me, because if you clearly own it, it should be cake for you. But obviously, that's not how that works. Once again, this should not be treated as legal advice nor a legal attack on anybody.
And then they have to tussle with Microsoft legally.
Yes.
Not many people want to do that.
No, I don't.
One more little update. Sony Music.
I don't. Honestly, I would love to work with Microsoft. I know people are going to be like, Kip, what? Do you understand that Halo is such a massive part of my life? And I would absolutely love to work with Microsoft in some capacity on Halo. I mean, I say that now. I don't know. It's one of those things that I try to play nice as much as I can.
Music publishing do own distribution rights to the Halo 4 soundtrack. So if you get to this stage, they will reject your appeal. And although it can result in a copyright strike, Sony have been relatively good about basically giving you the option to drop your dispute. So you can then just drop it entirely, and it just goes back to...
That is more than a lot of other companies would do. I will actually give Sony the W on this one, because if they legally own it and they don't want it legally being used, technically they could just give you the strike. But if they're giving you that chance, I will give Sony in that situation the W. I know a lot of people aren't going to like that. I do feel that that is Sony doing more than other entities would.
Just demonetized, but the video is still live and you get no copyright strike. There's still a 7-day limit on that. If you don't drop the dispute during that time, the video will be either manually...
So on the subject of Microsoft, I can't give out information in regards to who I talked to, where I talked to them, when I talked to them. I allegedly spoke to somebody who helped test the original Microsoft operating systems and stuff, and I guess met Bill Gates backstage. They sent him floppy disks and floppy disks to test OSs. And I actually ended up thanking the individual, because I'm like, look, without you, I would not have been able to become a Halo Insider. Without you, I would have not had all the awesome memories on Xbox Live. You helped me in ways that you didn't know. So I mean, I really don't have anything against Microsoft. Not really. I also really just like Halo.
Manually removed by you, or it will be automatically removed by YouTube after those 7 days. And you will get a copyright strike.
Yes,
so
that is
circumstances.
I got on the Zafranc duck video. I actually ended up getting a takedown note. It's called a takedown notice, and it's just look, it's fine if you don't want this. That's perfectly fine. I'm more than happy to take it down, especially being in the React content creation sphere, right? As far as this channel is concerned, if a creator, Installation00, for example, said, "Look, I don't want you to. I don't want this up. Need you to take this down." Absolutely, I will comply with that. It doesn't even need to get to the takedown stage. Some people, it might have to get to the takedown stage. For me, Installation00 could just open up a dialogue. Anyone can open up a dialogue. Hey, I don't want you reacting to my video. Please, can you take this down? Absolutely. I'm more than happy. I apologize about the inconvenience, and we move on. That's all we need to do.
Well, you don't get a copyright strike if you remove it yourself or you drop the dispute.
Yes.
Again, Sony Music Publishing do have distribution rights to the Halo 4 soundtrack, so the Halo 4 soundtrack is off limits, so to speak.
Yeah.
So it's highly unlikely, but they...
Oh, damn. I get to play more Halo 3 and Halo Reach. Oh, damn.
Can, if they want to, they can reject your appeal. Now, if they do that, you will receive a copyright strike on your channel. If you receive 3 of these within 90 days, your channel can and will be demonetized. Then you'll have to speak to YouTube directly. You can, again, use the same rationale here that you were using content that you're allowed to use, that is covered by a game content usage policy, and that it was fraudulently claimed by these third-party companies. You can use the same rationale, but you'll have to go through the legwork of talking to YouTube and trying to work it out between you and YouTube to get your channel remonetized.
Yeah, that's going to be negotiations.
Again, highly unlikely that it'll happen, but it's a possibility. So to mitigate the risk of you being entirely demonetized, don't appeal more than 2 rejections at a time, because you've got 3. If you get 3
if you get 3 strikes, you're out. If you get 3 copyright strikes, I think community guidelines strike count as well, you're out.
Copyright strikes, you're demonetized. If you get 2, then after 90 days they release and everything's back to normal.
90-day rolling period
again. So don't ever claim more than 2 at a time. So if you've got 5 videos that were claimed and you disputed it, and then they rejected it, and then you appealed that rejection and they rejected it again, you got the copyright strike, you're only gonna make that appeal for 2 at a time. So you got 5, only appeal 2. After they release, great, it's all good.
If they're upheld, then wait that 90-day rolling period.
They release, and then appeal the last one.
It's just mitigating risk.
That process, after 7 days, it's a much smaller process for appealing. After 7 days, they'll either ignore you completely, which they probably will ignore you completely, in which case you'll wait the full 7 days, then it'll just release and it'll be fine, or they'll release it bloody quick because they realize you're shit. Very small risk that they'll actually reject that as well and you get the copyright strike. But again, your own comfort level there, okay?
Yeah.
It should also be noted that if they do reject your appeal, they are breaking international copyright law. If they do that, this is what you do. Since these claims are fraudulent, and they likely know that they are fraudulent, they'll probably do anything they can to avoid you taking this step. And they'll release the claim before you get there. But
And that's where I actually disagree with the system. If they're going to pursue legal action in regards to claim or a strike, it's kind of like, so in real life, right? If someone sues something but doesn't have the grounds to sue them on, and it's found to have no grounds, the other entity could sue them back. So I'm a little confused if someone's able to file a false DMCA and then go, oh, no, we'll drop it, which was a case with a company I had to deal with. We're just going to drop it. I fired back and I'm like, you don't get to drop this. You're going to refile that and we're going to have this discussion. It almost feels like it's a bargaining chip for them. And it's a little strange because as far as I'm aware, it's the only industry that really does that, right? So if someone were to, say if somebody were to, a dentist were to sue Colgate or something like that, right? And they were found to not have grounds to sue Colgate on, Colgate could come back and sue the dentist, right? It's just random hypothetical example, right? So if somebody falsely files a DMCA on me, if someone falsely files a DMCA on Installation00, someone falsely files a DMCA on Mr. Beast, right? And it doesn't have grounds, why should we not have ability to be like, you're going to keep that, even though I know it's fraudulent, and we're gonna pursue you to the fullest extent that this is going to be. I don't feel that it's necessarily appropriate to, oh well, we dropped it. We dropped the claim. It's fine now. It's fine. Everything's fine. No, it's not fine. You still initiated this claim. So that's my concern in regards to the system. Defamation lawsuits work. I believe so. Yeah. So I can't necessarily say, for example, I show speed. God, I can't stop saying it. If I were to allege something against I Show Speed and it was completely defamatory, no basis, no grounds, right? Yeah, I could expect him to potentially allegedly sue back, right? Meanwhile, I'd call him I Show Meat for valid reasons, which, you know, we showed something on stream he shouldn't have, right? When you can cite something like that, it's not necessarily a get out of jail free card, but you're citing, hey, look. Now, if you say cite something and you rationalize it in this weird backwards way that now you have this claim against them that's completely defamatory, you know what this all boils down to? Just don't be a dick. Just don't do stupid shit.
On the off chance that they do take that fucking risk, take down the name of the company or companies that are claiming your content. Take down the content.
I do that at the claim stage. You kidding me? Company claims me and I don't agree with it. Oh boy, everything about that company that's surface level, I'm gonna know. Your net worth, your company name, where you're based, who I call, what other numbers I call. Oh boy.
And that they're claiming specifically, and if possible, if you could still got the original file of your video, upload it to a cloud storage, OneDrive, Google Drive, whatever the case may be. Get a shareable link, put it into an email with the name of the company, with the rationale, with everything else that you need, and send it to this email address. Send it to DMCA agent spelled AGNT @Microsoft.com.
Actually, I might have to start doing that in regards to wanting to make Halo. I've been itching to make Halo content for a while. That's actually really good to know. And companies, organizations, corporations should have email addresses like this set up. They might not be able to catch everything, but they do have an inbox. Or, hey, here's this tip for you. You want to go pursue this?
That's in the description down below. Send it to them. They will take relevant legal action against those companies. And after those 90 days have elapsed, the copyright strike that you may have got because they were bold enough to reject your appeal will release and everything will be fine. You'll likely lose money. You'll likely lose the money from that video completely. But at least you'll still be monetized, and at least Microsoft will be dealing with them behind closed doors. And that's the whole process.
That brings me a lot of joy, actually, to hear that.
And like I said, so far, 15 of my videos have been claimed by the same list of companies.
Yeah.
11 of them have released directly as a consequence of these of using these scripts, this rationale.
Right. Obviously, I'm assuming the Halo 4 exceptions are there because of distribution rights and who holds it. 4
are still pending. I'll let you know what happens. And these companies are being sought out and issued with cease and desist letters. I hope, beyond all hope, that should this all work out exactly as I hope it does, and you use this structure of contesting these fraudulent claims, I'll keep using them as well. It's my hope that every single Halo content creator here on YouTube and on Twitch will no longer receive these copyright claims, and if they do, this will work.
I honestly think that Halo content creation, especially because of these claims that Installation00 has been receiving, has been in a rough place. I can say for me personally, especially on my the VOD channel, the Kiznakip TV, where I have 3 Halo VODs at this point: Halo Infinite, Halo Reach, Halo 3. Yeah, Halo 3 and Halo 4, right? No, so there's 4. It's been very de-incentivizing for me. It almost feels like it's not worth it to get into Halo content creation because of the rampant claims and DMCAs we have seen. So the fact that we have, concrete facts and a way to move forward with Halo content creation, a path forward, because Installation00 has done all of this work, has done all of this background, legwork, and had discussions. It seems like he's talked to legal personnel as well, is huge for especially new people that want to get into Halo.
And release it, and you're good as gold. You're no problems. And I hope that it will be very soon thereafter these same companies that keep making these fraudulent claims realize, oh well, there you go, all the Halo content creators now know their shit.
Yeah,
that they're now contesting it legally, and we can't do anything. We'll just leave them alone,
hopefully,
and then we're good
until the next iteration of claims comes out. But we'll handle that when it comes,
and then we're good. That's the lay of the land. That's what's going on right now. If you're not a content creator, but you watch Halo content creators and they've had similar issues, which they likely have, send them this video. Send them this structure of doing things. And if you are a content creator, use this. You shouldn't be getting your shit claimed. I shouldn't be getting my shit claimed. We shouldn't be having money drawn away from us to third-party companies that have nothing to do with Microsoft or Halo. It's not right. This is working. So use it.
Not legal advice.
Take it easy, everyone, and find peace in the domain.
As Chad is saying, victory for the domain. It is a victory in a sense.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider smashing the like button and leave a comment below on what you'd like me to cover next. Big shout out to my patrons, Spartan10148, the metarch of my installation, Falcon, Prophet Bear, Mikhail, Sophia, and Ashley, my dutiful monitors, Darian, Scarab, Spartan0137, Anthony, Ghost, Aaron, Chris, Jacob, Sean, Element Zero, Somatic, Jordan J3, Dan, Mr. Keys, Directal, Gunslinger, Jacob, Bandmill, Echo, Evermore, Officer Cat, and Personal Devil, my diligent sub-monitors, my fleet of Strato Sentinels, and my loyal
I do
enforcers.
love his Patreon stuff.
And all the other patrons who have jumped aboard to support the channel. It means more to me than I can accurately put into words. Another shout out to my Tier 0 Transcendent YouTube members, Spartan137, Jacob, Schmitty, Talia, Fenrir, and Born Stellar, and all the other YouTube members keeping my installation running on that glorious vacuum energy. Shout out to John for I don't fucking know. And if you want more of this kind of content, hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. And consider jumping aboard yourself as a patron or YouTube member to keep the channel alive and kicking. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy, everyone, and find peace in the domain.
To a certain extent, as chat did say, find victory in the domain. This was an excellent video, and I do agree with the sentiment that what bothers a lot of people is that this was a video that had to be made. That there's been enough controversy, there's been enough of a headache that's required this to be a video that has to be made. And I do consider this a victory for Halo content creation because doing the work, Installation00 has made public work of that. Look, this is, if you are facing these exact specific circumstances, you can use this to potentially great effect. I would, I have to say from my own part, I can't offer any legal advice. It should not be treated as legal advice, at least from a React video, right? Installation00 does know his stuff, in my opinion, especially in comparison to me, because I'm a professional grade dingus. Let's be real. This was amazing, and I'm glad that he's been able to overcome a lot of these. I feel that this transcends not only Halo, but also other copyright on YouTube. As always, copyright should be treated on a case-by-case basis, especially as, the Halo 4 Sony distribution rights did come to light, stuff like that, right? Everything should be treated on a case-by-case basis, and you shouldn't ever feel like you have to go above your comfort level. For me personally, I don't want to ever have to give out my address and stuff like that. That is, especially to third-party claims that YouTube may uphold, potentially, allegedly. It's a little bit too much of a risk for me. But alas, that is all I have to say on this subject. I know we've effectively tripled the length of this video at this point, and I do hope that this reaches a lot of people. Hope it reaches a lot of people that maybe didn't know Installation00 was a thing, and they see, you know, right there, 200K special, the ARC most detailed breakdown, and other people are going to be drawn to this as a subject, and maybe this gets picked up by a lot of larger creators that have experienced a lot of these same issues, and that this is a amazing next step in Halo having a lot more new people into it, and a revitalization of sorts, where we have MCC having great mod support. Halo Infinite is coming back in certain aspects. It's setting the groundwork for a lot. And now in regards to copyright, which has felt oppressive in regards to the Halo soundtracks, even though it is under the Microsoft game content usage policy, we feel like this is a win, and that people are going to be able to catch a second win and have direction. But what are your thoughts? Do you think that this is a awesome video? Do you think this was a video that shouldn't have had to be made in the first place? Are you happy that Installation00 is seeing success? And I don't mean that just in overcoming copyright, but also 200,000. I know he can go up to $1 million. I know it. And, you know, what are your thoughts on the situation at large? Please, as always, be civil in the comment section, as always, and share this with somebody who you think this could affect, or you think that would find this interesting. I can't recommend Installation00 on this content enough, and I'm very happy to see where he's going to go from here. I will see you next time. Find victory in the domain. Little slightly to the left ending than he did.